Okay, I'm ready to make my review now of Cobra Kai Season 2. And just spoiler warning, like there's gonna be no spoilers in the beginning of this video, and then I'm gonna switch over to some minor spoiler parts. Hope you enjoy. What is up, boys and girls? My name is Vin Jimfio. Hope you're having a smashing day. If this is your first time to the channel, well, welcome. And for the rest of you, thank you for joining me once again. So today we're talking Cobra Kai Season 2. I know there are a lot of people have been waiting for it, not this review, but Cobra Kai Season 2. And I am obviously one of them, since I have a whole channel dedicated to Cobra Kai. So it's cool. It's really cool. And so this first part of this video, my review, is going to be just about talking about just general opinion with no spoilers whatsoever. And then the second part is going to be minor spoilers, but I'll warn you in advance when it happens. So here we go. So the short version of this whole season 2 is basically it's a mix. It's a story mixed of different stories, and we've got Johnny trying to redeem himself by creating a new type of Cobra Kai, sort of taking the good parts from a very good and bad experience that he had with Cobra Kai. And then we have Daniel, who's basically trying to save the world, save kids from the evil of Cobra Kai, because in his head he thinks that Cobra Kai is like the root of all evil. And it's understandable looking at it from his perspective. And then we got all sorts of situations, subplots, and they are sort of intertwined into this thing. Most importantly being, of course, that Cobra Kai's creator, John Kreese, is still a ghost. And okay, he wasn't a ghost. Like, let's get that out of the way. Obviously, he wasn't a ghost. It would make no sense, him talking to all sorts of characters, and it would just mess up the story if it turns out that he is a ghost. So I was wrong, as I explained in a previous video. But I think it would have been cool, even though I've seen it too many times being done before. So my opinion about season 2. So it really didn't disappoint. I watched the whole thing in one take, and I took notes, and I have them on my screen here so I don't mess up this review. It really didn't disappoint, but it did have a lot of cliche moments, which I'll talk about later in the sort of spoiler part of this review. But in general, I really liked it. The whole thing felt like Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars. Yeah, it's a Star Wars reference. What I mean is that like season 1 felt like you sort of introduced old and new characters, and in season 2, no introductions was necessary. I mean, there were some new characters, but in general we could like really focus on character development. And for me personally, what I enjoy mostly in movies and TV shows is character development. You don't, like, once you do the introduction part, great, top notch, but now I just want to get into the character, So that's my take on it. It felt very cool and fresh. It was, it had some deep and sad moments, but it still in general is a very feel-good movie, so you're not going to get depressed while watching this unless you get a bit nostalgic sometimes. And I love that. I think that's what I love the most about, Cobra Kai Season 1, is this healthy mix of nostalgia versus new. Like, I loved that this show is perfect for older people, shall we say, people like me who are, nearing 40, and people who are new to like the whole Karate Kid, Cobra Kai thing. And I think it's really cool. It really, I think it does a great job of entertaining both young people and old people, and that's something that I can't remember ever seeing done in such a great way before. It works really well, because even we have these old characters, it's still about, how the inner childs cope with the realities of new age. And not new age philosophy stuff. I'm just saying, like, it's all about, like, Johnny is so cool because he's like this guy it seems like he slept through the 90s, and like he's still in his 80s. Like he's still the kid trying to deal with the new world around him, and I really like that. And it had some great fight scenes, great nostalgia. The soundtrack was awesome. I loved it. I love the fact that they sort of did a lot of 80s music, and then they did a lot of like covers. And I love that part. I really liked it. So yeah, in general, as a whole, I felt that season 2 was really good. I'm not really gonna say if it was like better or worse than season 1. I felt it sort of fits together. Like if this is gonna be like a season 3 and it's just gonna be 3 seasons, then I think it's like a perfect part. It's like the middle part of a trilogy, and I can't really like compare them. The first season, it was all about the introduction of new characters, and the second season was definitely, going in for character development. So I really enjoyed it. So in general, I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And now we're gonna move into the spoiler part where I talk about my pluses and minuses. And so if you haven't seen it, you should turn off and watch season 2 basically. And I'll wait. Oh, good, you're back. Good. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. So what I really enjoyed, I have some points here that I took up. I really liked the moment with the old Cobras getting back together, the old gang, the Tommy and everything. It was kind of sad, yes, but it was fun, I mean, I did an episode before where I talked about what happened to the old gang, and it was interesting. Some thoughts that I had back then were actually true, like Dutch actually did go to prison. So that was cool. Obviously, I think they probably couldn't get the actor because, as I understand it, Chad McQueen has like left acting altogether. He's like completely left it. So it was cool. I really like Robbie, which is a huge surprise for me because if you remember my review of season 1, I really didn't care for Robbie at all. Like I kept forgetting his name, and it's like a miracle. I suddenly remember his name. He really grew on me. I felt he was like cool and calm, and I felt he was a cool character. He was very human, and yet seemed to always make the right moves. And Miguel was also cool, and he also was kind of good guy. And I like the fact that both of them were actually pretty good people. Just like, if you think about it, Johnny and Daniel, they're also pretty good guys, And, Robbie and Miguel, they just seem to be the next generation, sort of. And both of them are good, but I felt that Miguel could have gotten a little more scenes. Like, I didn't feel there was too much character development, and especially with the sad moment at the end, that was so sad. And you really care for the character, and we'll see what season 3 has to bring. I do have some thoughts and theories, but I'll make a different episode about that. Hawk was really cool evil. I really liked every scene with Hawk, and the actor playing Hawk, he did a wonderful job. Like, I really felt it was just good. It was just entertaining, and it was cool evil. I can't explain it a better way. Like, it wasn't like dark, nasty evil. It was just cool evil. I liked it. I liked it because you could definitely tell why he was as evil as he was. He just didn't want to go back to the old self because he really hated that old self, and I really like that. I understand it. It just seems like evil has really, clinged on to him. He's not going to let that go anytime soon. Speaking of, the whole Dimitri versus Hawk subplot was really good also. Dimitri, which I didn't really care that much about in the first season, here he was actually a very interesting character, a very new type of character because he was just sad in a way. He just couldn't fight, and then when he actually could defend himself, like at the end of season 2, it was really fun to see. In my head I was like standing and just clapping for him. Like, he was really cool. And I'm still rooting for Johnny, and I really like the whole Johnny side of the story, even though it feels like I'm sort of going more for Johnny than I go for Daniel. I feel like Daniel is just some kind of whiny and naive middle-aged man. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not saying I hated Daniel. I preferred, like, every scene where you had Johnny versus Daniel, like, arguing or fighting. I just rooted for Johnny all the way. I really did. Throughout the entire season, I really rooted for Johnny. In the first season, I was sort of like, they're both kind of good guys, just misunderstand. But here I was like completely rooting for Johnny. Even though, like, in my back of my mind, like, I'm still for Miyagi-Do. I still think that is the way to go, Mr. Miyagi, rest in peace. But, that's the character that I'm always going to be rooting for, because that's the good. And Cobra Kai is definitely the evil part, which you kind of get with the whole Kreese evil philosophy. And speaking of that, I have to go into the minuses. So, the actor playing Kreese, great job, loved Kreese. I love the evil Kreese type. It just, the turnaround twist, I saw it coming from a mile away. Like, I knew at the first scene, like, I knew it at the end of season 1 that this is gonna flip completely. That's why I was so hardcore on the whole ghost theory, because I just felt like, no, come on, this is too obvious. Like, he's gonna come in there smoking his big fat cigar, and then, like, in the first moments where we see him in season 2, he's like talking about he's trying to redeem himself and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm not falling for any of that. Cobra Kai is just getting started. Like, I smelled it from a mile away. Like, I knew what he was doing every step of the way. I saw every move he made, except perhaps, the final scene with him being the new trainer and everything. So speaking of, like, cliche moments, the drama, like, the cliche stuff, like the love triangle, Robbie, Sam, Miguel. I don't know. I think it's probably I'm gonna be, like, completely honest with you guys. I think I'm too old for this, because I've seen it too many times, too many TV shows, too many movies. The triangle drama, the love triangle is just, it's so boring to me right now. Like, I can't, like, I understand for new kids it's interesting and it's like something relatable to their childhoods, but, like, I'm nearing 40. To me, it's like I've seen it too many times. I'm done with it. Like, there were moments in this season 2 when Miguel was hitting it off with Tori, and obviously Robbie is hitting it off with Sam, and I was like, great, now leave the whole triangle thing, just leave it, just let them be cool couples who hate each other or whatever, just, cut the line right there, just leave it at it. But they didn't. They actually just, they had to do the whole, oh, I saw you kissing my boyfriend thing. Like, it was just so, oh, she was drunk and she kissed her ex. Oh, I mean, come on. Some of you guys got to be sick of that one, right? I mean, come on. But there is a lot of drama. Like, there are these lines. Like, the most cringy scene for me, it was at the end fight when Miguel is fighting Robbie, and he says something like, she doesn't love you, she loves me. That was just so cringy. Like, I hate that part. Another thing that I didn't like, the funny fat guy. Stingray, I think he was called. Yeah, Stingray. I just felt like he made no sense. I felt like it was just the same as in season 1. You had the one-liners coming from that annoying kid, Daniel's kid. Thankfully, in this season 2, he didn't have too much to say, so I kind of like that. I think he should have a more interesting role or not be there at all. Like, send him off to military school or something, And Stingray, I just don't see it. Like, he was funny, don't get me wrong. He was really, really funny. It just felt out of place that you have some old guy in a teenage, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it didn't feel like it belonged. But you let me know in the comment section what you felt about Stingray. Maybe I'm just off. Speaking of, like, just so you know, I haven't read any reviews on season 2, so these opinions are just, like, completely my own. I don't know what the rest of the world felt about season 2. I haven't read any comments up until, like, while watching season 2, because I really wanted to make this review, like, really clean from outside voices, so to speak. Then there is the whole repetition pattern. When you've watched as many movies and TV shows as I have, you start to recognize patterns. For instance, in Harry Potter, every movie has the exact same pattern. Seriously, if you really look for it, you will see that every Harry Potter movie is all about the person that he could trust is not the person he should have trusted. It should have been the other person who he didn't trust. And there's something similar here. Like, you could definitely tell a pattern that you start to feel, oh, things are gonna be okay. Oh, Daniel and Johnny, they're gonna patch it up. And then something happens. And you sort of start to recognize it. And again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with this. It's just, for someone who's watched too many movies, it becomes very old. The twist at the end, I don't know if you can really call it a twist, but basically, having Kreese coming back there and taking over Cobra Kai, it didn't really feel that much of a twist. And also, the text message back from, it was Ali with an I, just sending a friend request to Johnny. That was kind of cool. Maybe it's a small hint that she's coming back for season 3. I hope so. But yeah, so just to sum it up, it's a really good season. Like, I have some remarks, some minuses that I just wanted to mention, but in general, watching the whole 10 episodes, I felt like that was a really cool experience. I'm really happy with it. I really am. You could have made it a lot better. But I think TV shows these days are all about, attracting different generations, and this one had to sort of cover the teenage drama, and it had to cover the old school nostalgia. So I get it why they did certain things. I just wanted to mention my opinions, because I'm just not gonna be one of those people who just loves something and goes like, oh, 10 out of 10. Loved it. It was perfect, because nothing is perfect. And I kind of like it that it's not perfect. It has some dents and dangs and stuff like that. I like it. So in general, really awesome season 2. I'm still gonna watch season 3. I'm waiting for season 3, and I would really like to know what you think. Leave a comment section below. Let me know if you caught anything interesting, and I'm gonna have some more episodes coming up, which are gonna be, I'm gonna have some new videos on Cobra Kai coming up that are gonna be about some different things that I noticed, some theories that I have about season 3, and also a couple of things about season 2, some thoughts that I'm gonna exclude from this review. And yeah. Oh, P.S. I just gotta say, I still hate Robbie's hair. I just gotta say it.
Okay, that was it. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, see that like button, smash it. And I got some freakishly awesome videos coming up. Better subscribe so you don't miss a beat. I'll see you later. Peace.